A Nightmare on Elm Street is a classic horror movie that came out in 1984. Directed by Wes Craven, this film manages to leave its watchers in doubt all the time. Did Freddy Krueger actually kill people, or was it all just a dream? Today we're gonna discuss the movie, A Nightmare on Elm Street, a 1984 slasher film by Wes Craven, which features Freddy Krueger, a man with a burned face, signature fedora, red and green striped sweater, and knives for fingers. This film sets up the story of Freddy, a man who murdered at least 20 kids in town several years before. However, because of a legal loophole, Krueger went free. Afraid of what he would do to their kids, vigilante parents tracked him down to an abandoned boiler room where he would take his child victims. They set the place on fire, intent on killing Freddy, hence his burns. A child's nursery rhyme, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, becomes popular in town. Teenagers Tina and Nancy, the latter played by Heather Langenkamp, with Glenn played by Johnny Depp, and Rod have a sleepover at Tina's house. Tina, Nancy, and Rod admit they have had terrible nightmares, in which the same creepy man in a striped sweater with knives for fingers terrorizes them. Tina is killed by Freddy, and Rod is blamed for her death because he was sleeping with her then. But Nancy knows that Rod is innocent and the man in the dreams killed her friend. Nancy tries to stay awake at night so she won't fall into the terrifying dreamland haunted by the slasher. When she nods off in class, she's chased into the school's boiler room and burns her arm on a steam pipe to wake herself up. The burn mark, however, stays on her arm, proof that her dreams are being blended with reality. Nancy's mother brings her to a sleep institute where she is observed while she sleeps, and her mother and the doctor witness her having a nightmare in which she wakes up holding a rumpled hat. Freddy's mom must have worried he'd lose it, as his name is inscribed inside the brim, and that's how they learned the man's name in their dreams. When Nancy tells her skeptical mother about Freddy, her mom tells her that Fred Krueger can't come after her. Enraged by her mom's reaction, she hatches a plan to meet her friend Glenn at midnight so he can watch over her as she enters her dream to capture Freddy and bring him to justice. Glenn reminds her that if you turn your back on the monster, it can't hurt you. However, Glenn falls asleep before he can meet up with Nancy, and Nancy's mother locks her inside the house so she can't leave. In one of the more insane moments ever filmed, Nancy gets a phone call from Freddy, whose tongue comes through the phone and licks her face. Nancy realizes Glenn, who has been sleeping on his bed, is in danger. In the film's most iconic scene, Freddy pulls Glenn and his TV into the mattress, and a volcanic spew of blood bursts out, covering the ceiling and everything else in sight. Determined to catch Freddy, Nancy booby-traps her house, still hoping to execute her plan to fall asleep and catch him. Her mother is passed out drunk, and she asks her father to stand guard over her so he'll be there when she awakes. She drifts to sleep, dreaming that Freddy is chasing her in his boiler room. In a classic jump scare, Freddy lurches up behind her and grabs her, no longer in a dream but existing in her real life. Freddy chases her into the basement, where she pours gas on him and sets him on fire. By the time Nancy's father arrives, Krueger is on fire and leaving a trail of flame footprints leading to Marge's bedroom. It was Marge who he was after the whole time, as she was his killer. Freddy vanishes into the street and her burned skeletal remains fall into her mattress, turning into a hole. Nancy approaches the bed, summoning Freddy from the depths of the bed, and he hovers behind her. She tells him she wants her mother and friend again, and with that, Freddy seemingly dissolves into thin air, unable to exist in a world where people don't fear him. No one else in the film could conquer their fear of Freddy, but Nancy could, making her the sole survivor of the nightmares. According to some, the film's ending was a lesson that sometimes we must face our fears to conquer the world. Freddy's death in the film raises purposeful ambiguity, leaving the final moment open to interpretation. The film's ultimate fate remains uncertain as both dreams and reality blend. If Freddy had remained truly dead, there would be no room for a sequel or 8. But do you think all of her friends and her mom died? Or was it all just in her head? Let us know in the comment section below.